Hey everyone, welcome back to Teenage Therapy. I'm Gael.
I'm Thomas.
I'm Kayla.
And we're back. If you're watching the video on YouTube or on Spotify, we are back in the OG Teenager Therapy Room
Back in my bedroom.
in Orange County, California.
Nah, it's nice to be back. A
Is
little
it?
bit. Just a little bit.
Yeah.
I already got tired of it. I'm
Actually,
not gonna
a
lie.
part of me feels like, wait, I'm bored already.
No. Me too.
The thrifting was fun and I had my fun little moment, but I think I got my taste and I'm good to go
All right,
back.
let's go back.
Yeah, let's just
Return
book that
flight.
flight right now.
So if you can't already tell, we really enjoyed New York and our 2 months there.
You guys have been back for 2 days, right?
I mean, today's our second
Today's
day.
your second day. Whoa, only one full day. Yeah, today.
Yeah.
I just landed today in the morning. Like, I'm a little sleep deprived. Haven't really processed. I'm just like, whoa, I'm home. Whoa, why are my steps going down? No, my average is going down. It's gonna go back down to under 10K a day. That's honestly heartbreaking for me. I'm sorry, just the steps. It feels weird being back. I know we did an episode where we talked about homesickness 2-3 weeks back. And I remember when I felt that, I really wanted to go back home. I was like, I miss it. I miss all of this. And then I sort of got through it. And then ever since then, I'm honestly, it's not even bittersweet to be back. I'm I just don't want to be back.
It's just bitter.
It's just bitter. I'm just bitter about it, to be honest. Yeah. I was fully imagining my routine back at home when I was in New York. And I was like, fuck, that sucks. But I'm trying to make the best out of it. I'm trying to still make the most out of Orange County. It's not a bad place to live regardless. It's if you make an effort, it's a nice place.
No, I think it's a really nice place. I
Yeah.
just think the difference is that we've been here all of our lives. And so it feels kind of stifling sometimes,
Yeah.
But I mean, I love Orange County, but I'm just a little bit bored of it.
Yeah.
I've had my fair share.
Yeah.
It honestly felt like those 2 months did not fly by. They actually felt like a long time for me.
Honestly, yeah.
I felt like I lived a whole lifetime during that, and this distant life of back when I was in California seems like so long ago. I was kind of reflecting on that, on just how it feels being back and where I was before I left and where I am now. And it feels like a lot of growth has happened in those 2 months. And I mean, I did turn 20, and so that was already one big thing. And then a lot of realizations, and then moving out for the first time will have you just thinking about a lot of things. And so I'm in this weird situation where I'm just honestly, it feels like this past life that I had is gone. I'm entering this new stage of growth. And it also makes me realize that it's a little sad that change is a constant in life. That's why people say life is change. But change is also really uncomfortable. Naturally so. I mean, it's so disorienting when you're going through intense change and growing pains of life, and that entire process is hard to manage. And so I'm just whoa, we really are going to have to just keep living, and things are changing, and you especially when you're so young, things can change so quickly. It's almost hard to keep track of your life, because I think when I was younger, maybe in my teen years, things were a constant, school and friends and routine, that it felt okay, this is my life. But now that I'm entering my 20s and it feels like things are constantly changing, there's less of those moments that makes me think what is my life? I don't know. It's hard to it feels a little disorienting sometimes. It's hard to be present when you're going through so much change. And I think being back in California, I've started to just have some of those thoughts about, how do I define my life? But maybe I'm just overthinking it, and it's really just live in the moment. You don't have to define it, I suppose.
Yeah, just live in the moment. That's kind of all we can do right now. It does feel really weird to be back, and it kind of feels like we outgrew this place a while ago, but after being in New York for the past 2 months, now it's why am I here? It feels a little claustrophobic sometimes. It's the same streets, it's the same places I've known my whole life, but I'm different, and it doesn't feel right for me to be here. But at the same time, what can we do? I'm just looking forward to like going back to school, because then I have become this new person, I think it would be fun to experience that at school, because I was telling Kayla this, but I don't identify with like my freshman year self. Nor do I really identify with my sophomore year self either. I just feel like I was batshit crazy. Like I was insane. And I did not like myself those 2 years. And now that I do like myself, I'm excited. I feel like it'll be a much different experience than the past 2 years.
Yeah, I remember being homesick. You guys saw. The evidence is there. I was down bad. It was crazy, and like the urge to go home was so strong, but I stuck it out, and I'm so glad that I did. I like genuinely I am so glad that I did, because I think I would have cut myself really short if I decided to go back a week earlier, because it's weird being here now and like doing the things that we talked about doing, like, oh, once we go home, we're going to go do this, and this, or like we have to get 7 Lou's, we have to go get In and Out. And it's weird because I don't feel the same satisfaction as before. And that's so sad. I know. Because I was like, oh, like I'm going to feel like really good and really happy about this. Like driving with music, like I'm going to feel so good. And don't get me wrong, I do feel happy, but it
was for like 30 minutes. It
doesn't
very
bring
short-lived.
the same satisfaction anymore, which was kind of surprising, very surprising, because I thought I would be able to just go back into it, or like just do the same things I always did and feel that same level of contentness, I guess. But it was just not the same, and I still don't feel that exactly, and it's kind of scary, I guess, because now I need to find it in something else, or like something else essentially, and maybe that'll be back at school, because I do think I've changed a lot and my circumstances have changed too. And so I think being at school, and this is something that I've thought about a lot, I just want to give myself the chance to like actually meet new people. I think that's specifically something that I'm focusing on, because I think the past few years, when I think of school, I think of like social circles, right? Like, oh, like this person is a part of XYZ or whatever, this person, whatever. And I think being in New York, where that just didn't exist, and I would just talk to so many people and they were interconnected in their own ways, I just felt fresh. I felt new, and I really, really liked that. And then I was thinking to myself, like, I literally have this environment back at school, but I'm just not using it because of my own lines that I put in between people. And so this year, I just really want to try to, like, forget about, like, meaningless shit and, like, just meet new people. Because I'm like, I literally am with these people for 2 more years. Like, I really just want to make the most of it.
I have like my gut feeling. I have a gut feeling that we're gonna make a lot of new friends this year.
I really hope so. And I think, yeah, just being in New York too, I've learned to trust myself a lot more, in all aspects. And so I think just going into the new year, it's gonna be exciting, and there's gonna be so much change.
That is such a good realization to come to, because I think you feel it a lot in high school that there's like imaginary barriers between who you can talk to, which doesn't exist in the real world. And it sucks, because I think after people graduate college and they realize at who they talk to their college years and who they thought they couldn't talk to, post graduation you start to look back on those years and just think like, why didn't I talk to more people? Like, why wasn't I, like, it really wasn't that big of a deal. You have like everyone you can reach out to, like DM whoever, and it doesn't matter. Like, it really, like, it's just, you know, so it's like good to realize that while you still have like time to actually go and do all that.
Yeah, exactly. I think just school environment is different, obviously, and I think, Kyle, you have a very different perspective because you're not connected to anybody really, and like you don't, not even worry about it, but just don't think about it. And so I'm reaching that point where I'm just like why?
Yeah.
Why am I thinking that way? And I guess that's just something that comes with, growing older and just maturing, I guess. Because I think that thought process is a very freshman way of thinking. And so I think now I'm hoping it'll be a lot better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it will.
Mm-hmm.
It does feel nice. I don't know how to. I think that's an interesting point about the satisfaction piece of it. Of it doesn't feel as satisfying as it did before, because I think so much of life are those moments where you have this routine, the satisfaction that you used to get, and then one day you might break out of it for a bit, and you won't have that for a while, and you're just itching to go back to it. Like, oh, I just can't wait to do all this or live this life I lived before. And then when you go back to it, you don't have that level of satisfaction, and it's like after that, it really forces you to just realize that it is constant growth. Like, you just have to keep growing and finding new ways to make yourself happy, because the same things won't make you happy forever. And I wonder what that will be for me. I think I'm like intentionally trying to change the way I live my life, because I think it scares me. Like, the big fear that I had coming back is that I was going to have the old routine back. And I remember how much I enjoyed it before I left, and like I was happy with that routine. I enjoyed it. But now, because I've gone through growth, I know that it probably won't feel as satisfying if I did do that. And so I've really been thinking a lot about how I want to change the way I live and the things that I do and how I spend my time. And I'm strangely excited. I'm very excited. It's like starting a new chapter. And so I think when a lot of people say they struggle with the mundaneness of life and how boring it feels, how meaningless it feels, I really think it's about thinking about what are some really weird ways you could just change everything, and just like whether who you talk to, the way you spend your time, breaking your routine gives you a good level of satisfaction, and it makes life feel fresh. It makes life feel new. I think it's just getting past that initial nostalgia hurdle that keeps you thinking like, no, I'm going to like it the way it was, so I shouldn't change things. I should just keep at it. But really, in reality, if you feel like life is meaningless, if you feel like it's just not satisfying, that means it's time to switch it up. It really is time to just like break everything and restart it all over again.
Yeah, I think, I don't know. I just, especially me, just valuing comfort so much, just me as a person, it's sometimes so hard to just accept that things are moving and changing. And I mean, even now, it's like I know that I just feel like change is happening in every aspect of my life, like every aspect. And so sometimes, just out of comfort and safety, I just like want things to stop. Even though I know things are only getting better, like the change that is happening, whether I recognize it now or not, I know that it's happening for my benefit. It's just that in the moment, I'm just like, I get so tired that I'm like, please. Like, I will revert back to my old self if it means like having some level of comfort, And it's so hard to like fight that sometimes. But I'm doing better. I feel like I'm doing a lot better job of like adapting. So
Yeah. I feel like it's harder to adjust to change if every aspect of your life is changing. Whereas like, if it's one part of your life, you can focus all your energy onto that. Yeah. But when it's everything, then it's just overwhelming.
Yeah, I forget about that. Like, yeah, you bring up a good point. But yeah, I don't know. I also wrote in my journal, Gael, that like, I don't want to revert back to my old ways of thinking coming back here. And that's something that I'm really trying to like get ahead of, because it's been one day here and I don't know what, even the smallest things, like I'll be just in bed for like an hour and I'll be like, what am I doing? What am I doing? It feels like I'm going back, like I'm going backwards, even though I know it's something so minuscule and like I'm genuinely just resting. To me, it just feels like I'm being lazy, or like, oh my God, girl, like in New York, you would be out, like you would be doing this, this, and this. And so, I don't know, it's different.
I wrote the same thing.
Yeah.
I'm still kind of terrified that I'm gonna become my old self again, and I don't like that.
No,
like I really like the person that New York kind of pushed me to become, and I want to like keep going forward, and I'm scared that being home just sets me back.
Yeah.
But the way I'm thinking about everything is I'm here for like 2 weeks, and then I move into the house. Kayla and we're getting a house with our friends for college, so it's gonna be fun. But I'm just waiting until we move in, and I'm hoping that is like my brand new start, and I can keep moving forward from there. But this little 2 weeks at home is kind of like a buffer.
Yeah.
A buffer, and I don't know, like I don't know what to do with myself. I don't know how to spend my time.
Yeah. No, I feel the same way. And I think it's so conflicting because, you know, we say like, oh, you know, we want to be with our parents. We want to like spend some time with our family. But then that time is being spent, and I just feel like, I don't know. I don't feel
Over it. I'm sorry.
No,
Not
I'm
over
not
it,
over it,
but
but-
just like,
okay.
yeah. Like, yeah.
So then why don't you just don't?
Because there's still that guilt.
Yeah.
You know, it's just hard to navigate. It's hard to navigate. And I think for you, Gael, it's a little bit different.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Even just like beyond parents, like just like the people around you, it feels weird when you feel like such a different person because you've had these new experiences and like you met new people and you're just like becoming like kind of you're just getting so different from who you were while everyone else is still kind of the same. And so that feels weird because I don't know how to act.
I feel the exact
Like,
same way.
Like I was struggling
Yes.
to hold a conversation with my little brother about everything. I was like, why am I
Yeah.
struggling?
No, I feel, oh my God, yes, I feel that way where it's like, I feel like I've changed so much, and then I go back home and everything seems to be the same. And so because of that, I feel like I just subconsciously retract a little bit because everybody else is like pretty stagnant, that I don't feel pushed. Not that I like need to be pushed by my family. It hasn't, you know, that's like, it hasn't been like that.
Yeah.
But it just is nice when you feel like the people around you are also changing for the better. But also, like, would we even know that ourselves because they don't say anything?
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know, because I mean, it's not like I'm going into the house and be like, I'm so enlightened, you guys. Like,
No,
I went to New
literally.
York for 2 months.
exactly.
I am like
Exactly.
Yeah.
enlightened.
So it's, I don't know. Again, it's hard to navigate things when your family just doesn't talk about things. So,
Yeah.
I don't know.
so much navigation.
So
So
much.
much.
So
I
much.
mean, it's so
Apple
hard to
Maps is,
navigate.
like,
It's like
crazy.
multifaceted. Like,
It's crazy multifaceted.
yeah, I mean, we're gonna navigate it, but it's hard because the
Yeah.
wind and it's just hard navigation.
Erosion.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And Kayla doesn't know her left from her right.
and it's just
so-
a hard
don't,
cookie to
guys.
crumble.
So navigation's even harder for her.
It's really hard for me, guys.
Yeah, no, it's hard to navigate.
Mm-hmm.
I love that. And it's like a tough cookie to crack. But it's just how the cookie crumbles.
Yeah.
It's hard to navigate because I just had the cookie crumbles.
Okay.
Sorry,
He's turning into his business.
I
self.
know.
I just had
One
to
thing
let
we
it out.
saw during this trip, Gael would snap into business in this split second. And all of a sudden, his eyes would go clouded.
His vision would blur. His pupils would dilate. The voice lowers.
Anyways.
He was getting their LinkedIn.
Business was made.
Yeah. I think for me, the biggest thing that I would like to focus on maintaining in terms of like the growth that I felt was the types of people that I meet and the social aspect of it all. I think beforehand in OC, I was not making as big of an effort as I could to prioritize different friendships or meeting new people. And I think in New York, you're being forced to like react and interact with so many more people that it was like, okay, like I saw a lot of the good that came out of it. And so I really want to force myself to do that more, even while I'm here, and find myself being more consistent in those spaces where like you can meet new people and where there is a sense of community, because it's I feel like that brought a lot of good in my life. And it's hard to really understand how I'm gonna spend my days here, because on one end it is strangely peaceful. It feels like the world, I'm like shielded from the world, if that makes sense. Being back home, I'm like, whoa, like it really just is me. Like if I don't check my phone, I don't see anything. And in New York, it feels like the world is there and you feel it. But that is something that I thought was interesting, is feeling that sense of peace. I was like, whoa, it's so quiet. Like literally and like metaphorically, it's so quiet, it's so peaceful. And I think in a lot of ways that's good, because it gives me a chance to focus and kind of like be a little bit more mindful. And then, you know, figure out what I want to do, how I want to spend my time. And then when I'm ready, actually go out into like the busyness of it all. Like going from like mute to like, no longer on mute. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I think. Yeah. No, it was weird today because I went to my doctor's appointment, and I hadn't seen my doctor for like 2 years. And I was telling her like, oh yeah, I sorry guys. Well, yeah, I get busy, whatever. And I hadn't seen her obviously for 2 years, and I told her like, oh yeah, like I was in New York for the summer, I like have a podcast. And she was just so happy. And I was like, wait, I was in New York over the summer. You know, I think sometimes I forget that too, that I was literally in New York for 2 months, and I just would not have thought it would have been possible, at least so soon. And the fact that it's happened already, I just feel something else that I've been feeling recently is just a trust in the universe that everything is working in my favor. Do I sound crazy? No, because sometimes, I talked to our friend about this, and it's like, what's the balance between trusting the universe and having this mindset that everything is working in my favor, everything's gonna work out, et cetera, and then also being like quote unquote realistic.
But like,
you know,
you being realistic, doesn't that just hold yourself back?
I don't know. I'm like, do I need to find a balance between that? Because right now I'm on definitely the side where it's like, I trust the universe.
I mean, if you trust the universe and you trust yourself, then you're fine.
Right?
You need to trust yourself too. That is what is necessary.
I think that I'm at that point that because I trust myself, I trust the universe. And so I just have this optimistic outlook right now where everything's just going to work out. I don't need to worry about XYZ.
I mean, no, I like have that same mindset. I think that's good. That's a good mindset.
I hope so, because sometimes, I don't know, sometimes I feel
a
little bit silly.
Solely relying on like, I'm sure the universe is going to work itself out.
Yeah.
Like it's going to, like, then it's a little naive. But if you trust yourself, then.
Yeah. I think it's a lot of self-trust and also actively.
Yeah. That's what it
like
is.
doing things. But yes, I've just been feeling very trusting, very grateful, very optimistic. Like, and this is crazy because y'all know this isn't really me. I'm usually the type to be more, I don't want to say pessimistic, but more
pessimistic.
Sure. For the time being. And so yeah, I don't know. Things have just been really.
No, yeah. I was
really
going to bring that up because I forget that what we did is not common.
No.
And I was seeing this guy and I was telling him like our situation while I was in New York, and he just couldn't believe it. He was like, wait, what? Wait, so you and like 3 of your friends, you guys just like moved here for like 2 months? Like, just why? Like, what? I could never do that. And I didn't understand him at first because like, wait, like, no, it feels like vacation, blah, blah, blah. But then it kind of made me realize like, wait, this takes courage and this takes like trust in myself, and it is a big deal. And I'm proud that I was able to do it and not be so scared about it, and to be able to just navigate a whole new city just by myself.
Yeah.
Like, it's, yeah.
I forget that does take
that's
courage.
Something to be impressed by and to be proud of.
And I think something that also helped too is like, yes, we moved away from home, but a part of home came with us because we were with each other
Yeah.
for 2 months. So I think that definitely helped in like just having a support system, because I felt those 2 months we just got into a routine of things, like a swing of things, and it just felt nice to be in a home for the first time where I could rely on people, and like it was healthy ish, you know? And so
Yeah.
for the
Yeah.
most part.
Yeah.
And so it was just, yeah, I'm just really grateful for like everything.
Lots of gratitude.
Very.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like wrote a lot about that exact same feeling of like, it is like a really privileged thing to be able to do this, and even just spend like, because my last 2 days I spent it just kind of like absorbing the city, not really worrying about work or anything, and just like trying to take it in. And I was like, that is a very big privilege to be able to have that free time to do that, and like everything is relatively okay. Like there's nothing pressing coming to you. Because I did think like, well, it does take a lot of courage, you know. It's like, it's not the most uncommon thing in the world, but it still takes like courage to do it, and being okay with that growth and the uncomfortableness, and more than anything, being okay with changing the way you've lived your life. I think a lot of the people, there's a lot of people that I've come across that struggle with that, and actually changing the way their life is because of, I don't know, maybe it's a self-trust thing. But I think if you do it, things like good things come out of it. And so it's good to push yourself to be uncomfortable and mess up your life in so many ways, because like a lot of good growth comes from it, and the growing pains suck. The growing pains really, really suck. Like I think I talked about this in that episode of how every time that I feel intense nostalgia for the past and I like desperately itch to go back, that's just a sign of growing pains. It means like, yeah, things are changing, and that change is good, because for the longest time I had made it a goal to myself to always never be stagnant. I want my life to keep looking different. I want to absorb every moment and like really make the most out of my life. And I feel really proud of myself, because I think for the most part I have been like, no months, like every year feels like so much happens. So much happens every year. And I'm really proud of that. And I think it makes life so much more memorable when you keep pushing yourself to do uncomfortable things. You make so many memories. And it's nice. So do it. Like, do whatever you need to do to make your life look different. Mess everything up. It always works out.
Get messy.
Hopefully. Yeah.
Get crazy.
Get crazy.
Get crazy.
Get messy.
Actually, though, like we're only young ones. Like these fucking cliches, they're right.
No,
they're so fucking.
they're very
right.
right. I know
Yeah.
my future self is gonna look back at this time like, wow, that was a really sweet time.
Right.
Just so much, like, self-exploration and adventure and a memorable time.
Very memorable.
It will be cherished.
Yeah. I'm excited to see where my life goes. I agree with you. This kind of feels like a limbo.
Yeah.
I think there's those moments in your life where
a limbo is necessary.
a limbo is necessary, where you don't really know what your life is, because you just came back from something or did something just changed. You're like, And I think it's important during those times, in order to have good growth, and all that necessary change and uncomfortable change that is good for you, you also do have to make sure there are things that feel stable in your life, because you can't just be growth. You still have to have things that feel like are constant. And for a lot of people, that tends to be friendships, more often family, if you're lucky. And so it's important to know what keeps you grounded, what keeps you back. I think like that's the reason it's so important to have friends that you're on good terms with from your childhood, because they know that side of you, and there's like that sense of constant, like years and years of knowing this part of you, this constant. And so while growth is good, it's those things that have stayed consistent in your life that you will revert to and be glad you have, when you're like in this limbo state of not knowing exactly who you are, what your life is at the moment, because that gives you the space to kind of sit still for a bit until you like push ahead again and then change everything. And so it feels like that's where I'm at right now, being back home, having the constant friends I've had all my life, the same environment, my family. It allows me to like settle down. It allows my brain to kind of rest a little bit, before thinking about, okay, how am I going to live my life now? And then actually being like, okay, let's go out and do it. And so when you actually go out and do it, that could be like a physical change, a mental change. You don't have to make a radically big move to a new city. It can be as simple as just how you choose to spend your time. But yeah, limbos are okay. Limbos are okay as well.
You said it all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, you're so inspirational with it.
Well, someone has to do it.
Always
Like,
lesson learned.
guys, I think I learned something today. I'm so excited to go see Oppenheimer.
Oppenheimer.
35 million IMAX.
Isn't it
60 million?
70?
I forgot. 70.
You always say 70.
Yeah,
It is 70.
it is 70.
I'm actually really excited, and we're going to Disney tomorrow.
Friday.
No, Friday.
Well, when you're hearing this, we're at Disneyland.
Oh, you
For
guys are
my
so jealous right now. You're so
birthday.
I bet they're
jealous.
so
You're
jealous.
so
I
jealous
bet they're
right
so
now.
fucking
It's
jealous.
crazy.
We're gonna get a corn dog. We're gonna get a turkey leg. We're gonna get clam chowder. We're gonna get a.
Who's paying for this?
Yeah, I don't know. I was like, no, because I was like, should I bring like a torta or like should I eat at the park? Should I have like one meal that I splurge on, or should I not? Because it's expensive.
Oh, it's hella
Each meal will run you like
expensive.
20, and for like a
Yeah.
mediocre meal, so it's like, is it
Yeah.
really worth it?
What's
I
my
don't know.
birthday?
We'll see.
Well, you can
Oh wait,
splurge.
yes, it's gonna be Thomas's birthday weekend this weekend,
Yeah.
and
Turning 20.
yeah,
I'm excited. I feel like I'm ready. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, you're in the limbo. You're ready. That's a
Mhm.
big change.
I
It's
feel
time.
like, yeah. New York prepared me. I feel like an adult. Ready to leave behind my teen years.
Good.
Ooh.
Good. Eventful teen years.
Very
Can't blame it on
eventful.
teen angst anymore.
Yes, you can.
You gotta take responsibility for your life now. What?
That's scary. That's so scary. But
Like no one will come for you to help. It's just like, oh, you're a grown man. Like deal with it, like the rest of us. That's so scary. Like I can't use the fact that I'm young and like a teen. I'm like, I'm just baby. Like you can't ask that much of me. It's like, bitch, you're a grown man like the rest of us.
yeah,
That's real.
Yeah,
That's
that's
depressing.
scary.
Nothing is as impressive anymore.
Okay.
You're just
Kyle.
an adult.
Jesus,
Wow, that took a dark
I
turn.
know. Ignore him.
That'll be another episode.
Why?
I don't think you've talked
you're
about
dead
that.
me after your teen years. Yeah.
I hate that.
That
I
people
hate
think
that people share that like idea that if you don't accomplish it while you're young, then it's not a big deal, or like it
Right?
doesn't.
I feel like
Like-
so many people start things like so
Oh,
late,
yeah.
and it's like
yeah.
Like 35, fully. It's like
right that because I feel like that's when you're fully matured. Your brain,
Yeah.
like you went through all the rights and wrongs, and you know how to fully execute things.
Yeah.
So I'm like,
I just hate that there's such a big pressure to
yeah,
accomplish so much at a young age.
Yeah.
the media focuses on age too much because the data says like, yeah, people don't really accomplish much until they're much later in life.
Even then, like, who cares if you don't accomplish anything?
For
I
like,
don't
do you
know.
need it?
I feel like,
Like, do you need to be so big? Like,
yeah, no, it was one of the things I kind of learned about myself is that, like, while in New York, I was like, I don't want fame and I don't want, like, success and I don't want to become somebody. I just would want to be, like, a person, like, living their life and actually, like, living their lives and not doing this for this and trying to chase this, like, bag or, like, accomplish their, I don't know.
Mm.
Just
So
feel like
deep with it.
I feel like I just felt so burnt out because we've been doing this podcast for almost 5 years now that that it just I'm over it. I'm over it. I just want to be a student and I just want to do silly things and be with my friends and just not be somebody important, if that makes sense. Yeah. I think I talked about it before, but
Yeah. Yeah. I think I get those thoughts, but then I don't know if I fully feel it. I think a lot of times I just
yeah, I know. It's very different from the way Gael lives his life. And there's like nothing wrong with the way Gael lives his life. Like I'm not saying it's a
I'm
bad
trying to
thing,
find a better balance,
but
to be honest.
yeah, that. And I just I mean, I just don't want people to just think that they have to always be doing something or like to accomplish this and whatever.
It's interesting the way our perspective changes and like our critiques of like the suburban life is now like doesn't seem so bad.
I'm not. Oh, I don't know if I'm saying that. I'm
Yeah,
not saying
like, to me, I was
oh,
like, wait, so, like, do you want the
I don't
suburban life?
want a suburban life. Like, I don't want that for myself. But I don't need to be like building a company like from the ground up for it to happen. For like my dreams to happen. Like, I don't know. I don't want a conventional life, but I'm also not gonna be working my ass off and killing myself just to get here at this age when I'm not in a rush. Like I don't need it.
You have time.
I have time.
You have a lot of time. I think I learned something today.
Okay, I'm glad. Yeah.
You know where that's from?
No.
From South Park.
Oh.
Guys, I think I learned something today. Have you guys seen my I Love New York shirt?
Who said that? Which
Kyle,
character?
the one with the green hat. Kyle.
No, that's
That's
Kyle.
Kyle. Yeah. Anyways, thank you all so much for listening. Do uncomfortable things. Live life how you want to.
Yeah. Because by doing that, you build trust with yourself.
You really do.
And with trust with yourself, you build this confidence. And then you just...
First, you need courage.
Yeah.
Then the trust comes.
And when you know yourself, life just gets so easy. It's so easy. So, yeah.
We figured it out. We got it down.
No.
So.
We got it down to a science.
We got it down to a
I don't know.
science. It's easy as fuck now. This
So
shit's
what
a
you
game.
do is you move to New York.
It's a game.
This shit's easy as fuck. Yeah.
Bye.
But thank you all so much for listening. I'll put a poll or a comment and then see where that takes us. So thank you for listening, and we will see you in the next episode. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.